Welcome back to a brand new episode of Da Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, a podcast that only talks about our league. Week 9 is over. I'm going to recap everything. I've got a huge episode. I'm going to try to move fast. A lot to get through. Vibe check starts us off as always. Lots of gossip. Basically one big thing. I'm going to try to condense it, try to make sense of it all, let everybody know what happened. A controversial DBL game of the week or games. BP's complaining corner, obviously. A ton of Zach starts of the week. Lastly, we finish in feeling myself for the second straight week. Tyler joins the show. We also discuss a little bit of the drama and his point of view from it all. And let's go. Vibe check. Today is election day. I'm giving you guys, the people, something else to watch other than this election coverage. Even though it is electric, here's something different and let's talk about Fantasy Football League and the best league in the world. Why not? I was cooking this week with my drama. I concocted, or it kind of happened very naturally and organically. Some will say it was, formulated by me. I'm just trying to stir some shit. Possibly. I just didn't think this one would come. It just came out of the blue, fell right in my lap. And what do you know? I've got some shit to talk about this week. So we'll talk about that under the gossip segment. But this week, for this moment in time, I want to do a little, for Election Day, State of the Union. It's been a while since we've looked at the standings. It's been a while since we've given a good status check on where we stand in the league. So let's do that now. Pretty much 1 through 10 are all in a spot where there's a scenario, where there's a shot. Now, there are certainly much better teams than others. But with 5 weeks left in the regular season, anything could happen. Literally, there's a lot of scenarios, a lot of ways, but it all comes down to winning games and who's going to win these next 5 games. It starts with, and I'll put it to one of these sides. I'll put the standings up here, and we'll put a roster up as well. Braden is a wagon, first place, 7-2, still has DK Metcalf and Nico Collins on the bench, waiting to return from injury. He's got a complete roster, especially with those guys coming back. He keeps fucking up with making 1 or 2 spot starts to try to fill in these weeks that those guys are gone. But all in all, the guy has a full roster. He's got the running backs. He's got Josh Allen. He's got George Kittle at the tight end position. All in all, I believe it's a complete roster. Not the best roster, but he's winning games, and he's winning games without those 2 stars and those 2 studs in there. So I got to give him the credit with being 7-2. 7-2 is 7-2. Second place, we have Peeler. This is the team that I mean is fully complete. He's got an Avengers type level team. I fucking hate Peeler. Sorry, I love Peeler, but I hate him in a lot of fantasy fucking talk shit, a lot of joke ways. But this roster might be some of his best work. It does mimic the team that he built when he won his championship 2 years ago, where he just went all in and filled that perfect roster, had 0 injuries, and went on to win. He's gonna need one. He's 1 injury away from struggling, but hey, if you don't get injured, you're fine. To me, his roster is 1 roster spot away, and he's filling in currently with Tyrone Tracy, who's looked good. He just kind of had a bad week. And if he finds a way to fill that roster spot, like for me, he tried to send 4 bench guys for Breece Hall. And I just see that working for him. Somebody out there is going to stack his roster and give him 1 good running back for 4 bench players and he's going to have the gemstone, like the Thor hand. He's going to fill in that last gemstone, and he's going to have the perfect roster. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, back with Tua, Travis Kelce. You got the 2 running backs, and if he fills that spot, he would have Alvin Kamara and then now Patrick Mahomes. He's got the Avengers type level team. So we'll see what happens. You've obviously got games to win, but State of the Union, the guy's a fucking wagon. 3rd ranked team has done so far. He's 5-4, and he's done it without CMC. To me, that's a complete roster. He's been piecing together ways to get wins, but without CMC. Most teams out there, if you're not in this league and you're watching this and you have CMC, I would love you to show me your roster or show me your record without CMC, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of leagues and a lot of teams they're 2-7 right now, begging for CMC to come back to keep him out of last place type thing. Zach is now 3rd ranked in our league with CMC on the bench, not playing a single snap all year long. 4th place, we have Jared. Barkley and Gibbs have continued to be the best duo in the league. Preseason, I've kind of overlooked this. Jared's team has the best running backs, and they've been playing like the best running backs. Barkley and Gibbs are studs. Wide receivers are hit and miss, and he made a huge fuck up this week with his starts of his wide receivers, and that's why he lost. I also believe he's struggling at the quarterback position, and that's what's keeping him away from a complete roster. But when Jared's team is healthy, he does have a wagon of a roster, and there's really nothing else to say about that. He has a complete roster. It's just that quarterback, Jared Goff, CJ Stroud, that's kind of been fucking him. And then the 6th ranked team, just been grinding. Austin, just like the rest of us, has been grinding. He's 5-4, he's in the group of the 5-4, 4-5 teams that are just that we have our flaws, we have our downside, but he's winning that right now, and he has. I think the standings have him at 6th. Not only because his points for are the best, but I think they've got it right in the terms of he's got the best roster out of the 4-5, 5-4 teams. However, and this is when I was talking about at the beginning how our league is a fucking wagon. Dakota, league high 4-game win streak. He's ranked at 7. He's hot. He's winning games. His team's starting to pull it all together. Cooper Kupp's been back, and that's been great for him. I really wish I had his roster here in front of me, but I was looking at his wide receivers. I mean, Darnell Mooney, number 12 receiver in the whole league right now, can't get into his lineup because of the rest of his team. So he's definitely hot. Dealt with his injuries early on in the year. Things are trending in the right direction. And then the 8th ranked team is Tyler, back-to-back weeks at 160 points. 2-week highs. It's crazy that exists at the 8th ranked team. And his roster looks like legit now. Not just because they're scoring 160, but like the players are like, wow, this is actually going to be something sustainable. We'll talk more about Tyler's team when we get there. Justin is on the downside of the trend. He's lost 3 straight, but he did score the second highest points this week. So his team's been playing well. Actually, like 2 out of the last 3 weeks that he's lost, he's had insanely good weeks and just lost. But so when I was saying like Austin, Dakota, Tyler, Justin, even me, I have to include myself if I'm unbiasedly speaking about this. I fucking hate my team. But if I got to be unbiased, I got to say that my team's still alive. It's still in there. I am 2 weeks away from being the top scorer and things looking great. And then 2 weeks in a row, I've kind of shit the bed a bit. And then, I'm dealing with some injury things. So we'll see. I got a lot to talk about my team later as well. Mr. gets to 2 wins with a win this week, and that controversial trade appeared to help him with that. Those 2 running backs, J.K. Dobbins and Tony Pollard, they played well, and that got him a win this week. So hand up. I mean, looking back, I still think Peeler obviously scored with it, but there was a slight inkling that Mr. could have made his team better with that in the long run, and it finally gave him a win. So, kudos to him for sticking that through and wearing the shit talk the last few weeks on the chin. I still think Mr.'s team or Peeler's team is a wagon because of what you've done. Whatever. Not going to continue to harp on it. Donald, back-to-back weeks where you've lost, back on a 2-game win streak. Yikes. I know I skipped over it because I thought it would be a funny ongoing joke to continue not to acknowledge Augie's team, but it's coming to a point I have to for the sake of the podcast. Augie's 5th place team does deserve a little bit of chatter. He's made bad starts and he continues to still win. He's just got guys that are just not sexy at all. I don't think anybody wants to trade with him in any way. They look yucky. They look disgusting, but he's finding a way to pull out a win. So, kudos to him slightly. He's in that 5-4, 4-5 mix with the rest of us, though, that you're a win away from being good and a loss away from being a shitty team. That's how all of us are, and we're going to all grind through it. That's it with the State of the Union. Overall, it has been an insane, great year. I mean, it's going to come down to very, very tight things. Points for. It's all going to matter in these next coming weeks. 5 weeks to go. State of the Union is over. On to the next segment. Gossip segment. This week we had something pretty much go down, and it happened right at kickoff. The DBL game of the week was mine and Peeler's. The drama going into the week was me and Peeler talking shit to each other. Very basic talking shit. Just, I'm going to beat your ass, you're going to beat my ass type thing. Very friendly. Even on Saturday when we once again started talking about cheater and collusion, no one was even really tripping on that. With this gossip segment, I am not trying to sway anyone on my side. I'm very aware that this is an anti-commissioner league. The good news is I'm going to whine and bitch and moan about it, but that's all you're going to have to deal with is me whine and bitching and moan about it, because nothing's going to change. And the best leagues in the world, the best organizations in the world, the best country in the world hate their leader. Okay? Roger Goodell, the president, Rob Manfred, he actually does suck. Everyone. If you are a leader of a great company, you're being hated on. It's just part of the process. So go ahead. If everyone wants to ban against me and continue to just team up on me, I gotta learn to deal with it, but go ahead. I'm okay with it, or I'm at least saying that I'm okay with it, and I'll just cry myself to sleep at night. I don't need any support from anybody. At the end of the day, if I was to go away and there was an election or some sort of situation where I said, I'm done, somebody else fucking deal with it, somebody else would, and the world would go on. Someone's got to do the job, and it might as well be me. I just have to deal with it. No matter who that is in that commissioner spot, you guys are going to fucking hate on, and there's nothing anybody can do to make everyone happy. So, with that being said, let's talk about it. Here's the timeline of events. Justin first texted the idea of a trade with Kyle Peeler Sunday morning, 9:41 a.m. Text comes to me. I'm on the shitter. I'm literally on the shitter, going over roster moves. Justin, me and him are doing our normal thing, talking about start sits, all that stuff. 9:41 a.m., he says, I may need you to push a trade through. From 9:41 to 9:47, we go back and forth about what the trade was, what the trade is, whatever. Around 9:47-ish was when he sent that last message talking about the trade. Trade has not gone through yet. It's 9:47. Trade has not gone through. I obviously get up, wipe my ass, get off the toilet, go wash my hands, blah, blah, blah. The trade was Austin Eckler, who's playing at 10 a.m., for Patrick Mahomes going to Peeler, Austin Eckler going to Justin. That was the trade at hand. I knew that. I told Justin I never actually said I'd push it through. That small little note. I never said I would push it through. But it was pretty much understood between me and him that go ahead, I'm going to do it because I've been pushing trades through all year. Remember in episodes past, I've said this is the first year we've done automatic trade push-throughs. Justin did reach out to talk about, I need you to push a trade through. That happened for sure. That's important later on. At 9:52, that trade was accepted. At 9:54, I missed a call from Justin. Remember, the game started at 10 a.m. I missed a call from Justin at 9:54. Peeler texted the group chat, the DBL group chat, the whole league group chat, and said, push through the trade. I pick up my phone back at 9:55. Okay, I literally have a daughter. She's seen me come out from a bathroom, overload, dad situation. I do that a lot. There's a lot of times where 10 minutes just flies by out of fucking nowhere. I'm on my phone 24/7. Anybody can attest to that. If I go blank for 10 minutes, it is weird. So I understand why Justin was freaking the fuck out. Now, he had the missed call. Justin texted, I swear to fucking God, dude, at 9:56. 9:55 is, again, when I picked up that phone. I continued at that point to fuck around. Admittedly, openly, understanding, everybody, I fucked this up. Okay? I fucked around. For the next 4 minutes, I said, I think we need to review this trade. I said, who holds all the power now? I said, say I have the power. Say I have the power. I was literally dancing, laughing at my phone. Peeler said, you have the power. So he played ball. I wanted it from Justin. Admittedly, I'm like, I have the trade open now. And my goal, my plan was to fuck around 2 minutes before. Now he has to do it. He's mad, blah, blah, blah. But whatever, he gets it in and we're fine. 9:58, whatever. I also knew I had the defense and the defense mechanism that I could fix it if it doesn't work anyways. Okay? But I have the phone over. Justin calls back. I receive another call at 9:58. I had the screen open to hit approve. For 26 seconds, Justin berates the fuck. I didn't even get a word in. I didn't say a fucking cent. I said, I answered. He said, why the fuck? He cussed me out. Okay. Again, I'm not trying to sway anybody's opinion. Everybody loves Justin. They're going to love him no matter what I say. They're always going to laugh at what he says. They're always going to believe Justin over me. This is literally what happened. He yelled at me for 26 seconds. Soon as he hung up the phone, 9:59, the trade was approved. I closed my phone, 9:59, or he hung up the phone on me because he yelled at me, then hung up on me. 9:59, I approved the trade, say it's approved. Apparently it locked him out. Lineup locked, supposedly, thus too late to make the roster moves. 10:01, because then he sends 3 texts, you're a fucking dick, prick, blah, blah, blah. 10:01, I send the message back to him and I say, who do I start Eckler over? 10:05, I follow up with a picture of a roster, me on the computer, saying, I'm going to fix this. 10:07, follow up again with, you have 3 minutes. 10:07, I got a response from Justin saying, swap D-Hop. The roster switch part is irrelevant to the entire conversation. Okay, to me, and I'll talk about this with Tyler gladly. To me, having me do that roster situation is a easy shoe off. I'm not even going to entertain Tyler's complaint on this because this was admittedly 1,000% on me to fuck around and cause a little tiny shit. Basically what I'm saying is I knew I was going to make things right by being able to do those rosters, by being able to manually change the roster. So allow me, as a commissioner with a podcast, to start a little shit. That's how I thought in my head. I didn't mean any ill will. I didn't even mean to really piss off Justin. I meant to do something really funny. Now, he took it the step further and started to yell at me and disrespect the guy with all the power. Everyone's saying like I'm on a power trip. I wasn't on a power trip. I was just trying to have a little bit of fun. And obviously, everyone got their way. Everyone got their way. That's the point that everyone needs to understand. Justin got the roster move that he wanted. Peeler also got the roster move that he wanted with Patrick Mahomes. We seen what Justin was capable last week when he was the DBO game of the week and he went after Braden. We seen that kind of mental assassin that Justin was. Why I decided to fuck with him after that? Crazy, but I think he kind of rode that heavy into this whole situation. I knew I was going to have to be able to dismiss Tyler. I didn't think that was ever going to be an issue. I just wanted to, have a little fun with it, and then shit got serious. When he continued to go after me after the fact where he got the roster move situated, I could have just let it die, let him be mad at me, let him call me gay, let him call me the F word, whatever. I was upset as a commissioner that I did the right thing, no foul play on any sides, that no one could argue that there was any foul play. And then he went on to bury me in the group chat. So then I went on a separate conversation because this is not the same thing. We're not arguing about fairness. Now we're talking about just being dicks, right? And to me, he was the dick. So I went on to root for Tyler outwardly, openly, loud as fuck. I fucking wanted Tyler to win more than anything in the world. The DBL game of the week did not matter anymore. I didn't care about mine and Peeler's matchup. I wanted Tyler to bury Justin. I was very clear about that. I started saying that basically I went after Jalen Waddle. I don't like Jalen Waddle ever. And Jalen Waddle sucked. He had 0 points. Late fourth quarter, still had 0 points. And I made this TikTok. And in my mind, at least, after this, I did shift the focus to being all about Justin and Tyler's game. Justin and Tyler's game turned out to be fucking electric. And even though we vote on DBL game the week before and the before the matchup, so we get the whole preview thing, this game was electric. It was great. This thing was, Tyler would not stop scoring. It was every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, Tyler had a guy scoring. Justin had a guy scoring to keep pace, but the pace was consistently 40 points behind Justin, behind Tyler. But Justin would not go away. Touchdown after touchdown for Justin's guys. Touchdown after touchdown it was this game ended up 140 for Justin to 160 for Tyler. It was great. So yeah, I did shift the focus into being that because mine and Peeler's game was boring and slow and neither of us were doing anything. We had sixes on our roster. Jamar Chase not getting anything. Nothing was happening from our matchup. So yeah, I shifted the focus to the drama that Justin was mad at me. And yeah, I started to go after Jalen Waddle. I am not going to apologize for going after Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle can suck my dick. And I think me trying to create content out of talking about your team on a morning that we had some shit happen, I don't think there's a problem with it, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I don't think I took anything far at all. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I believe I've kept it all about fantasy football and I need everyone just to remember that, including me. I take things too far, and we argue about fantasy football far too much. But again, let's talk about manufactured drama versus real drama. And all this is just manufactured bullshit. So I hope he's not going to continue to hold this over me. There's going to be more fights and arguments among the league the rest of the year. I may need to opt out because I can't continue to keep letting fantasy ruin relationships or at least start shit. All in all, it was great. Okay, there was a lot of fun and a lot of good happened from that. There was, I think, entertainment from everybody. The chat was popping literally all day long. We had people chiming in every single time Waddle did anything, or a guy that turned into the whole chat against me for mushing Tyler. All of a sudden, Tyler was getting mushed by me because I was rooting for him. All of a sudden, Justin keeping pace started to become my fault. So it was fun, and I had a fun Sunday because of it. I hope everyone else did too. But that is it for the drama this week. All in all, we will talk about the rest, like the actual DBL game of the week, next segment. The secret game within the game was Justin and Tyler's matchup on the heels of a pretty big trade that didn't affect the matchup in any way whatsoever. That's another thing. That matchup, that trade was pretty irrelevant for the conversation when Tyler goes out and scores 160 points. Do I think if there was a way tighter game and this is a 2-point win by Tyler or a 2-point loss by Tyler, that this same situation would have happened and we would be still, like, this podcast might be a little bit more intense had that been the case? Again, I still stand on the point that there was no foul play in this entire thing. This was a commissioner trying to have fun, piss somebody off because of it. But I made it right, and nothing would have changed anyways. If I accepted that trade when I should have accepted that trade, like when Justin first sent it, Justin makes the roster move and everything goes on. But I fucked around, and now feelings got hurt. So that's it. DBL game of the week, the real DBL game of the week, was voted on, and it was Peeler versus me. I had 32 points after the Thursday game with Devontae Adams and Breece Hall. We kind of looked at it like I was pretty happy with it, but we did send these videos here. Good morning, the Boys League. Well, we've got the matchup everyone fucking wants to talk about. Best matchup so far, obviously, because I'm in it. Everyone loves to fucking hate. We've got a heavy underdog in me playing against Peeler's team. This is the game everyone wants to see Brandon on the big stage, huh? A fucking fully loaded Peeler versus Brandon's team that has fucking everybody out, everybody questionable. Jordan Love's out. T. Higgins questionable. Brian Thomas questionable. All doubtful, by the way. And then we have Xavier Worthy, who's questionably good. We have two Jets players that already played in Devontae Adams and Breece Hall. Great matchup selection, everyone. You guys really fucking knocked that one out of the park. But hey, let's give the guys a show. I see what Peeler's fucking doing. He's got his one guy sitting on the bench right now, so there's an empty roster spot to try to keep the projected number looking close. I know exactly what the fuck he's up to. We know Peeler's team is fucking good. We'll see what happens. I hope to God he plays Travis Kelce against me. I want Travis Kelce versus Sam Laporta. I want Travis Kelce on a platter Monday night where I'm only looking at fucking he needs 10 points out of Travis Kelce. And I hope to God Travis Kelce doesn't fucking get it to him. I will be unbearable. I will be unreasonable. I will be miserable. And then the vice versa, if Travis Kelce puts me in a body bag, that would be hilarious. So, I look forward to this matchup. Fuck Peeler. Fuck Peeler till I die. Go Brandon's team. Here it is, Sunday morning. Really struggling with who to start. Charles Tillman. What's his name? Chris Tillman. Who gives a fuck? Last name is Tillman. He might be the number one receiver for the Browns. I've got Brian Thomas, who is supposed to be injured for a long time, might play, looking like he is going to play. And then I've got Calvin Ridley, who's played really good last week. I need to sit one of them. Anybody wants to throw me any advice? BJT's been great. BTJ's been great. But he's questionable. I don't know how serious that injury is, but he could be the number one today with Christian Kirk out. I think he's got to be in there. Tillman's a baller. Ridley, I don't know. Any advice? I suck. Fuck Peeler.
No start-sit issues over here. Plan on rolling BP. And cheers to collusion, boys.
Yeah, as you can see, Peeler approached that with a tenacity, really got after it with the funny. Anyways, on my video, I ended up going with Brian Thomas Jr. and Ridley. Things stayed close, though. And this matchup, although all that other shit was going on, this matchup did stay close. And I was within striking distance, but I could never go through the door. I could never get into a serious contention with, is Peeler going to lose this? Jamar had no touchdowns, 10 points when Joe Burrow had 5 touchdowns. So it was like literally all the stars were aligning for me to do something with, and I just couldn't. Jamar, 10 points. Reek with 12 points. Kamara did have 27, so give him credit. But the rest of Peeler's team was pretty pedestrian. He never took full advantage of me not doing shit until Sunday Night Football. JJ got 22 points, kind of widened the gap. But all in all, after that even, I still had a chance. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce combined for 47 points. So what I was hoping for did not happen, obviously. Peeler wins by 33. Kareem Hunt ended up having a pretty solid day thanks to the second half. But in the first half, he didn't do absolutely dick. So the only way I had a chance is if his two guys stunk and my guy balled, and that did not happen. So all in all, Peeler's got a complete wagon of a team. If you contain Reek, if you contain Jamar Chase, JJ goes off. And that's just how Peeler's team is going to be. And if he has the chance that the week where all three go off, it's a top scoring week. Those are the best 3 wide receivers in football. The only other guy I would argue that's in there is Cooper Kupp, and that's obviously me being extremely biased. But other than that, those are the 3 best wide receivers in football. And he's got them all on one roster. So this week's DBL, we actually have some things to think about here because we've got some good matchups. Braden and Zach, number 1. Braden, Zach, number 3. Peeler, number 2, versus Jared at 5, I think he is. I definitely have a typo. Jared's at 4. And then we have Austin versus a red hot Tyler at 8. Do we want to give Tyler a DBL game of the week? We've heard a lot from him the last 2 weeks. Do we want to continue that trend? Yeah, so there's obviously good matchups. I mean, me versus Donald at 10 versus 12. We have a couple other, there are 2 other matchups that are fully needed games by like Justin, Dakota. They don't play each other, but those guys need to pull off a win. We've got a big week matchups. I'm going to send them in the chat. We're going to vote on them the same way we always do. BP's complaining corner, short, sweet, to the point. My fucking stinks. Jordan Love, health liability. T. Higgins continue to be the world's biggest pussy. Sam Laporta was an awful trade by me. I gave up absolutely nothing for him, and somehow I'm still the fat fucking loser. The fact that I even have him on my team is what's hurting me. Breece Hall stinks again. I don't know what to do. I think I'm in trade situation with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded by the time this podcast comes out, to be honest. I am in a world of hurt. I need to go to the waiver wire, pick up a quarterback. I've got Cedric Tillman that is definitely going to be starting in my roster this week. It's kind of a shit show, and you never know. Every time I'm really down on my team, I do something to pull me back in. I hope I can get there again. Zach starts of the week, more Zach starts of the week than I think I've ever had. We've got some good ones. I will start with an easy one. Me starting Ridley and Brian Thomas Jr. over Cedric Tillman. Garbage time really is what fucked me there, but both outscored both of my players. Ridley and BTJ Tillman scored 19.5. He outscored them both by 12, 15 points. So That's an easy one. I'll just wear that one, hand up, fuck that one up. Didn't matter, but seeing trends of Braden making goofy starts is starting to kind of piss me off. I've given him the full credit, the flowers in the earlier part of this episode, but dude, Wan'Dale Robinson over Rachaad White. Last week you did it. I think you started Jalen something, some wide receiver from the Bucks. You need DK and Nico back right away because them being out of your lineup and having to expose you for like being an actual fantasy football player and having to make like spot starts is embarrassing. And it's kind of like, it's very exposing. White scored 29, 15, and then goes into a Monday night game where you have a nice Monday night bullet and then you sit Rachaad White. So Rachaad White didn't even ball, but it just was a stupid start. Like, what are you doing with Wan'Dale Robinson? I don't understand that. Malik Neighbors is back. I don't know. I don't know a single ranking out there that would have Wan'Dale over Rachaad White. Jared benching JSN. This is the one I think everyone's going to expect and thought I might start it off. It would be nice for one time for me to say, Jared, great start. You made a good decision. Jared trades his ass off. He drafts his ass off. His roster management is great. But when it comes to like real fantasy football shit, like starting sit-ems and shit like that, that guy, I don't know if he's ever made like a true legit call. And that might not be fair for me. So when he did that, JSN is going off while he's in a crucial matchup where he needs to come back on Mister because Jared didn't have a single player play in the morning games. So he had a large gap to overcome. And in that late game, JSN goes absolutely fucking off. So I jokingly called him out. I said something like, people will write stories because of something. I was just like talking shit. And he said, that's what the algorithm told me to do. Really? What algorithm? I actually am calling bullshit. Okay? I actually don't think it was in any algorithm. I don't think it was any projection. I don't think the NFL app said that JSN was a worse start than Michael Pittman. I legit don't think that. I don't think that that's the case. I tried to find as many articles as I could. I found two, but the rest of these websites, you can't find articles that are posted. They delete them and then just set a new rankings. But Yahoo had JSN ranked at number 17. Michael Pittman was at number 36. Rotoballer, JSN was at 25 and Pittman was at 29. And if it's that close and it's just truly a bad start, I think you still would, like a normal fantasy footballer, would say DK out, Rams defense, who's been getting gashed by receivers, JSN over Michael Pittman. I think a lot of people make that move. Not over Marvin Harrison or A.J. Brown. You had other flaws that let you down. But JSN in your lineup gets you the win this week. And for you to blame the algorithm to me is soft. And it deserves to be called out. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like overly mean and fuck Jared. No, I've given you plenty of flowers on this thing. You continuing to blame the computer and machine anytime anything goes wrong, but then take credit as like you're some guru when you win. I've had enough. Are you just following the computer, or are you in this football league watching football and actually playing fantasy football the way it should be played? That's what I want. I want you to answer that. That's all. Dakota, number 12, wide receiver, Darnell Mooney, should not be being benched at this point. I know you're loaded. I get it. You're fucking loaded. But he's the number 12 wide receiver. I don't even know where you would have plugged him in at, but number 12 should not be being benched. I think it's worth talking about. Because I haven't talked about any real football on this podcast, I've literally just been talking about bullshit and drama the whole time. But yeah, number 12, Darnell Mooney's been a stud, should not be being benched. I say that, and then literally Darnell Mooney's going to suck dick this week. Watch. Austin Eckler over D-Hop. I forgot I put that. Open up the fucking wounds again. Austin Eckler scored like 17, 18 points. D-Hop scored 28 points. I thought it was a funny ending to the whole thing. Last night, D-Hop goes off. Tyler says, good job making that roster switch. And I thought it was funny at least. It wasn't Austin Eckler over D-Hop. It was Jalen Waddle over anybody. Waddle might be the worst wide receiver in the history of fantasy football. You were better when you weren't putting him in your lineup because you didn't have Tua Tagovailoa. Now you've been forcing him back into your lineup, and he's been fucking you. Now you're on a 3-game lose streak. So, Justin, please, for the love of God, stop playing Jalen Waddle and understand that Jalen Waddle might be the worst fantasy receiver in the history. For ADP reasons, him being available this entire time. He's been available and out there on the field. And he just stinks. He absolutely stinks. 1 week, 16 points. The following weeks, 8.5, 6.6, 7.6, 8.6, 0, 2 point. That was a bye week, that 0. 2.1, 8.5, 7.6 on a touchdown. 7.6 with a touchdown. That's insane to me. He ended up with -4 receiving yards. Kind of bullshit. Goes backwards last play for like 26 yards. But there is nothing to me that says that guy should have been a starter. And you were crazy to make Waddle a start. So it deserved to get shit talked the day of. Bad start. Lastly, worst culprit of them all. This is egregious. All the other ones, I forgive you, Jared. I forgive you, Braden. I forgive you, Dakota. I forgive you, Justin. I forgive you, BP. Man in the mirror, I forgive you for making that decision move. This one, egregious. This is what, when I talk about this fantasy football league, and I say with confidence, people see me on the street, how's fantasy football going this year? I tell them everything about my league. I tell them with confidence, I've got the hardest, best football league in the world. Our waiver wire is the hardest. Our trades are the evenest. Everything. People do not make moves or do not start people in their lineup that don't play that day, especially when the news drops at 6:55 a.m., such as Zach Moss. 6:55 a.m., and a message goes out with a designation of out, 0, red. The app tells you it's red, it's out. And Adam doesn't even check his lineup. There is zero excuse. I don't care what the fucking excuse was. I don't even think he had one or gave one. It's embarrassing and outright. The little fucker still won, but it is the most embarrassing thing that has maybe ever happened in the history of this fantasy football league. That we have a guy doing shit that my 79-year-old grandpa who can't even find a way into the app doesn't do. Or he does. He does do this exact thing all the time. But that's what the kind of shit that separates our league from the rest of these fucking Bush League leagues. This kind of shit does not happen. And if I see it happen again, I don't know. It's got to be punishable. This is insane. I wish it would have costed him a loss. It would have been better, but he still won. And that's the most insane thing to me, that Austin lost to that. Everybody put shame on Augie. That is embarrassing that Zach Moss made it into his lineup and stayed in his lineup when he was designated out at 6:55 a.m. You had 3 hours and 5 minutes to make a change, and you did not. I understand if that was Jared, but Augie, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. All right, finishing up the show, and we will be bringing on Tyler Thurston once again, back-to-back top scorer of the week. And we'll talk about everything that happened and how he got there and the rest of his season moving forward. that's all for this show. That's all for this week. Week 9 is in the books. Week 10, we've got a lot of very, very important games I've talked about. And yeah, so if you guys want to hear anything specific to be talked about, hearing feedback throughout the week of like what I should talk about is very helpful. Not that I need you guys to do the work for me, but like talking points and certain things that you guys want to see touched on. I think that's nice. I think that'd be great. And people that are listening that aren't in the league, what is it about? What do I need to fix and change to make this podcast better? Do I need to talk more players? Do I need to give more advice? Do they like the drama? Am I not specific enough on certain things when I talk about so-and-so and so-and-so? Do I need more graphics? Thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you. Welcome on, Tyler. Weekly spot here now. 2 out of the last 2 weeks, 3 times leading the league in top scores. What did you end up scoring here? 164 points. And that's back-to-back weeks over 160. The floor is yours, pal. Welcome to the show again.
No, it's a great thing to do. Like I told you, like I sent the message last night, same time as usual, because it's kind of becoming just a weekly thing. I think let's just go ahead and book next Tuesday as well, about 2:30, because I plan on being back. But no, it's a lot more fun now. Like I was fucking 2-5, and everyone's like, "Yeah, your team kind of sucks." I'm like, "Does it? I don't think it does, but we'll see." And then back-to-back week highs. But funny enough, I'm still not even 500, and I'm still out of the playoffs right now. But fuck it, I'll take 3 week highs.
Yeah, you are still 4-5 on a win streak that is better than anybody's win streak right now. It's 2 games in a row where you've looked like an absolute wagon. Things are going right, and you needed it this week. You ended up playing an insane matchup. First of all, hold on. Sorry, back up. We'll talk about the actual points here in a minute. Do you actually subscribe to the fact that you think we're getting fucked?
If I would have lost, yes.
If you would have lost, would we have steal the vote like Trump?
I would have been blaming the commish. I would have been protesting the game. We would have been under protest.
Huh.
We might have to put an asterisk on the week.
Is it just the principle that there was fuckery that happened on your matchup, or do you actually think that it was unfair?
No, honestly, it was more so just like it gave me a reason to bitch about something if it went wrong. So I was like, if Brand's gonna leave the door up, I'm gonna take it. And then as soon as Justin was like, "Oh fuck it, locked, he's not in," I'm like, "See, Justin even knows he's not in."
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I should have known, because I break down the whole thing in nauseum in this pod. Trust me. But I should have known that just me having hands on that situation at all was going to cause bullshit. Like, no matter who it was, you fucked with my roster, you fucked with a team. Like, I'm gonna hate the commish for it. But I've said it, there is no foul play. And I just hope that you can accept that. Or do you?
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. Now, honestly, me and Justin kind of bonded over our hatred of you there for a minute, to where I think it drove our teams to score even more. We're just like, fuck Brandon, we're both just gonna try and score.
Boy, and it turned into an organic, true game of the week. That game, that is what I mean. That is what I want. When we created the DBO game of the week, I wanted that sort of electricity, that sort of people rooting for the game, tuning into seeing what Jalen Waddle is doing, all that shit. Like it was crazy though. That
hey, you really might be a witch. Like on command, you're like, Waddle sucks, he ain't doing shit. I'm gonna make a TikTok on 0, and then no bullshit, first catch, then a touchdown. Like, yeah, he still didn't go off, and yeah, he still did run negative like 23 yards that last play. Dude, it was wild. He did nothing, and then catch, touchdown.
And I get so defensive that I don't think that I can possibly mush something. And then something happens and I just like look at my hands. I'm like, how did you do it? How is Justin continuing to keep pace here? And you just kept doing things. So like you just kept scoring. Like it was Ramondre Stevenson, Devon A-Chain. There was a point to where like every 5-10 minutes you were getting a massive touchdown.
Yeah.
And so it kept making me look okay. So then I would feed into it more and talk more shit. And then Justin wouldn't go away. It was crazy.
That was the thing. He just wouldn't stop. Like like you said, I would score 2 or 3 touchdowns, and he'd score 1 or 2. Like he always kept it close, and that's why every time you're like, you're kicking his ass, and I'm like, no, he's right there. And then you start talking shit before the 1 o'clock games, and I'm at halftime, and Kyron has like 2 points. Fucking who else? Devontae Smith has 0 points. I'm like, God damn it, Brandon. I was like, I was about to get weak high. Now I'm gonna lose my matchup.
Dude, I wanted the whole fucking world to burn. I was out like Game of Thrones, pull my sword out. I'm ready to fight everybody. Even when you were getting mad at me, I was like, fuck you too. You could get it. I was like, I wish you could lose too. Because so we kind of touched on the drama that happened beforehand, but we pushed through. You thankfully won. That kind of made things go away, because I do admit that if you did lose by like 4 points, like things would have it would have sucked for me. It would have put me in a real tough spot that I still think I would be defending the same thing. I don't think, but it would have been a lot more bullshit. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's hard to argue with. The lineup was locked, it was then unlocked, changed.
I'll let you listen to the pod, but because I talk about that exact thing like it was fully caused by me. Anyways, so because I already went 50 minutes long, so trying to keep this thing short. Your team is on a tear. Is it sustainable? And Zay Flowers, is he your guy? Devontae Smith, is he your guy? Like, or is this just guys playing well? Because the argument still could be made that Devontae Smith, once A.J. Brown comes back, that's not going to continue to happen. Zay Flowers, we don't know. Is he a pumpkin? I don't know. I love your running backs, but if I look at your roster, and even though it's scoring 160, I still can't put it in the same boat as those great teams in our league have right now. Thoughts? I'm sorry. I love you.
So first thought is these great teams you speak of, how many weak highs do they have? Okay, just checking. It's at least 2 less than me. Anyways.
True. Facts. That's a shot at Peeler. That's a shot at Braden. That's a shot at Zach. That's a shot at Jared.
The whole
league.
But no, nice thing about my running backs too, they're both studs and they're both passer-by. And if Tua can just not get the Tua fingers again and keep throwing the rock to Achane, I'm going to be fine.
Dude.
Because he's getting like 7 targets a game just receiving. Like he's putting up like number 1 receiver numbers and also rushing a little bit. And then, Kyron didn't even really do shit for me this week, but I didn't need him. And usually he carries me. But yeah, so the receivers, honestly, I feel pretty good about Debo because with Ayuk being done for the season, I think it's going to be very Debo, Kittle. And honestly, with McCaffrey coming back, it could hurt him a little bit, but it also takes some of the tough part sometimes too is if it's just him and Kittle, you can focus on that a little more. Zay Flowers, he's kind of like my boom bust guy. He's been a little more consistent lately, but Deontay Johnson makes me a little nervous. But at the same time, I feel like he's kind of almost like Tyreek Hill-esque, where it's like you can only cover him for so long. It's like where Lamar just is fucking around back there, running around, and all of a sudden Zay Flowers is wide open, and it's a 60-yard touchdown. Like he has that ability where it's like he's athletic enough to where he's going to get open. Like Deontay Johnson, like he has to get open on his route. He's not going to run around past anybody and get open. Where Lamar extends these plays, that's Zay Flowers. So honestly, every week I've been healthy, I've been a higher scorer. My team's been healthy 4 times. We got 4 wins, 3 times weekly high score. So everybody could say that.
So Zay Flowers,
because they have been week high 3 times.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was already just thinking about my next thought here, but yeah, like Kyron Williams was supposed to have like his best day ever, and he didn't do anything, and your team still scored 164. So your running backs are great. I everything you said about Devon Achane is perfect. He's caught 8 catches. He did 6 or 7 last week. He's incredible. You're absolutely right. Zay Flowers, with the addition of Deontay Johnson, is dude, some guys are just not a number 1. Some guys are not even number 2s, but the Zay Flowers might be a number 2 type of guy that is not getting the best corner on the team, is getting those wide open routes, those single coverage, and Zay Flowers is exposing them. After 1 week, we'll see. If it continues a trend, that Deontay Johnson could have been the greatest thing that has ever happened to your team. This week you've got. Oh, that was last week. You still got Debo.
Yeah, he was on bye last week. Oh, and I got Juwan Jennings if anyone wants to come get him.
Oh, great. Thanks. That's fucking great.
Honestly, what's funny is like Debo gets hurt so frequently though. I kind of look at Juwan Jennings as like a fucking handcuff for Debo because then it's like fuck, Debo does go down, I'm really set.
Okay. So, and then this week you've got potentially. The only problem is I don't know if you're going to be DBL Game of the Week. It's because you've been on the pod 2 times in a row. Do we really want to hear more about your team? But you do have a hell of a matchup with Austin.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You know, I'd love to be the BBL Game of the Week, but it's tough. You know, I get like you only got the 1 versus 3 matchup. We got the 1 versus 3 matchup, so like I feel like that kind of has to be because that could really sway who's first place after this week. We're like, Austin is big for playoff, like who's going to get in, but that's going to be big for potentially who wins the regular season.
Yep, that one is a big matchup, which I think will win. But I just wanted to kind of give flowers to your guys' matchup. 6 versus 8. Austin is in pretty much a must-win situation to kind of keep the train on the tracks here. He does have Brock Bowers on a bye, and Drake London and Chris Olave both dealing with injuries. Olave looks like he's out. London could be okay, but you've got everyone, right?
Yep.
Everyone except for
Never forget, this is the Zay Flowers revenge game. Austin's the one who traded him, so never forget.
Oh, wow. Well, see.
Never forget.
Something to keep an eye on. If you can continue this streak of top scores, I mean, it would be one of the most insane runs of all time. But congratulations on your current success. And I always enjoy you on the show. So if you can make the playoffs, I think it would be cool for everyone in the show. So I enjoy your team. I have a lot of teams I hate in this league. Your team is not one of them, but I have called them out and I've been fair and mean to them when they've been shitty.
And maybe they need the tough love. Since then we've responded.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want me saying good things about you.
Like your video the other day, maybe it is a we. Maybe it is me and you, Brandon. You want to be, maybe, yours isn't working out. Hey, it's like when that coach gets fired halfway through the year and we bring you in as a special advisor. We're like, hey, Brandon doesn't like this matchup, so definitely start him up. Oh, he likes that guy? Get rid of him.
Yeah. I thought I was speaking for everyone. I thought I was living through everyone, that I just was the only one not afraid to go at Justin. I think everyone was afraid of Justin, and Justin was crazy. So I went after him, and I was speaking for everybody. So congratulations on the win. 164 points. You're a wagon. Talk to you next week, bud.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.